Brodes Media.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Brodes. It's just nice to have hockey back. I know they lost, but they showed heart late, and they fought, and it was extremely exciting in the building. The Wells Fargo Center was electric when Claude Giroux scored that bingo from a tough angle. What a play to get him the puck. Magnificent way to leave everything out there on the ice. They took advantage prior to that, because Travis Konecny gets two-handed right into the head area. I don't know what the hell is going on. What are we, cavemen out there? But look, Vancouver shot themselves in the foot. They still got their 2 points. So at the end of the day, they fly to Philadelphia and get everything that they were looking for. But still, they collapsed late. Thatcher Demko allowed some goals. And, the Flyers just left everything out there, which I do have to tip my cap. It's game one. Nothing's going to be perfect. You don't even have your full lineup. Ristolainen's not available for you right now, and that was disappointing because I definitely wanted to see him play. I wanted to shut up all the analytical nerds that are trying to tell me that he's the worst defenseman ever in the history of the damn game. So I can't wait for him to go out there and throw the physical presence around and to show that, yeah, you know what? A part of my problem was playing in Buffalo, one of the worst organizations ever in the history of sports. So please give me a fair shot here when I'm not just surrounded by nonsense. But I digress. Look, I had the opportunity to be there in the building. Brodes Media is now credentialed through the Flyers, so I'm really excited here for year one actually covering the team from a media member perspective. It's going to be a ton of fun, and just the atmosphere tonight, going down to the Wells Fargo Center, feeling the buzz, and that's exactly how this game started out. There was so much buzz involved, right? You got the fans behind you, Joel Farabee, that power play early. Well, before the power play even happened, that first period, you saw something there with Joel Farabee passing the puck to Derek Brassard. They had action. They outshot the Canucks 15-4, or was it 14-5? Yeah, it was 14-5 in that first period. So they were all around, generating good chances, getting pucks on net from the blue line, traffic in front, JVR working down low. Unfortunately, the net came off, and that stopped the play. But with about 12 seconds left in the period, he's mucking and grinding, utilizing his body. Before we get into the periods, though, I guess just from a broad sense, I'm a little shocked of AV's message after the game of how happy it was. I don't know. He seemed to say that Carter Hart had unlucky bounces. Well, last year, he absolutely annihilated Carter Hart. I didn't love his approach necessarily, but it's weird because, in my opinion, when Carter Hart is hugging the post and then he takes his foot off the post, that can't happen, right? When JT Miller crashes the net, that goal made it 4-2. There was actually some momentum built. This was in the second period, and I labeled this on BrodesMedia.com. I labeled this period as I put up my notebook for everybody to read. I want to throw up, undisciplined. The Flyers made it 3-2. Farabee and Brassard behind the net created some nice space for Cam Atkinson to get into the high slot area for him to score his first as a Flyer. It's 3-2, Orange and the Black. There's actually some momentum. Lawton and Lindblom had a 2-on-1. Lindblom missed that, though, mishandled it, couldn't get a shot on net. The fourth line of Nicholas Aube-Kubel, Nate Thompson, and Willman established momentum. Hey, there's 4:22 left in the second period. Can they make some noise? Can they tie it up? Well, they didn't, and Carter Hart got off the post. And there was also a power play goal earlier in the game where Pettersson banks one off the boards. His shot missed wide. It banks off the boards, hit Carter Hart's skate, and goes in. That one's more fluky than the 4-2 goal to give the Canucks a 2-goal lead again. But my point is, in my personal opinion, Carter Hart has to be sharper. Now, it's game one. I'm not going to crucify the man and say that he's going to stink. I have a lot of faith that he will be a good netminder, okay? And I have a lot of faith in this D-core and everything being cleaned up once they roll 10 games in. It's hard to tell, right? It's hard to judge. There's a lot of adrenaline going. The last time they had a normal season was quite some time. So, and plus, keep in mind, they got a lot of new players. It takes time to really establish yourself as a team. Get flow. You're missing Kevin Hayes right now. You're kind of bouncing some things around, playing with some different line mates. It's inevitable that there are kinks that have to be, maneuvered around, for sure, 1,000%. But I think I'd say I'm a little underwhelmed with Carter Hart more than I am overwhelmed. And that doesn't downplay some of the, and this is just for this game, okay? Just for this game. Let's not blow this out of the water here, make it seem as if I hate Carter Hart. I'm a huge supporter of him, and I think that he's properly engaged as an athlete, properly engaged as a goalie. It's just about execution and learning on the job. We knew that it was odd and strange for such a young netminder to take over a franchise. This is why. There's all sorts of, I have to adapt. That short side, though, he got beat short side pretty good when the Canucks tied it up 1-1. But where was I going there with Carter Hart? Yeah, I'd say I'm a little underwhelmed with him tonight as a whole. I definitely need him to be better. He made some really good saves in the overtime period. I'm just to counter what I'm saying here. It's I was a little disappointed in his effort, but he did have some really strong positives as well. I'm not downplaying that. He had a 5-hole save on Pettersson in the overtime period. A really incredible backdoor save as Vancouver in overtime slowed the pace down. Got what they were looking for, to the point where the Flyers actually had a counter late. There was one really good attempt in overtime when Cam Atkinson did a little dipsy-do through the slot, got a backhander on Thatcher Demko, but he made the save, and the puck ended up going into the corner. They were very limited to the point where Travis Sanheim's getting booed because he decided to take the puck back into the neutral zone and just wait for a shootout, where Carter Hart was scored on in the first two shots, and Sean Couturier and Claude Giroux had some really nice attempts but couldn't bury. There was a breakaway opportunity in this game where I thought Nate Thompson had a nice sneak. It wasn't a pathetic effort. But here's what bothers me about it. Cam Atkinson, while the Flyers are on the penalty kill, so this was a shorthanded opportunity, he makes a great play at the defensive blue line, which creates a turnover, and he sends Nate Thompson on a breakaway where he probably could have kept it, skated up ice, and maybe made it a 2-on-1, or hell, just him taking it. Who knows, with a burst of speed, what could have happened. But you know the difference in Nate Thompson and Cam Atkinson, right? I mean, one is a legitimate lethal weapon goal scorer, and the other is a fourth line grind that you're just happy if they don't get scored on. That's their role. Hey, I know we're on the PK and it's all about grit, but yo, Cam, I think I want you to take that up the ice, please. Speaking of the PK, though, they ended that second period. I know I'm jumping all around. I'll get better into this. I'll get better rhythm, better flow. It's just game one, but I'm just letting it go, baby. I'm all hype. It was fun to be in that atmosphere. It was fun to have some free coffee as well as pounding back some hazelnut. It's going to be a late one, so why not? At the end of the second period, Willman just takes a stupid-ass penalty, cross-checks for no reason. It puts the Flyers in a tough spot to start the third. And I don't find it ironic that third period I could label as blah, right? For the most part, until the very end, there was really nothing happening. Early stages, JT Miller walks into a clap bomb because the Canucks throw a puck into the offensive zone, angle it perfectly. Here they come right out of the gate, handful of seconds in, reps one on Carter Hart. It's wow, really, this is what we're doing, huh? It's tough to have life when you have to start the third. When you're already down 2 goals, there's a 2-goal deficit, and you put your team at a disadvantage. And by the way, I'm proud that you made it to the NHL, but the leash isn't very long when you're making those type of emotional decisions. So, Willman, you got to be smarter. That felt like a Nicholas aube-kubel type of move like we witnessed last season. If we're going to date it back to the NAK of last year, yeah, those are the type of things that he does to hurt this team. Or at least that's what he did in the previous year. Let's go to the positives with the forwards, though. I thought Joel Farabee was extremely noticeable. This kid is an absolute stud. My man gets the payday. My man gets the contract, and he just builds off of his effort from last season. Cam Atkinson's a dog. I like Brassard. I thought Brassard, that second line there, I thought really definitely popped. And I know G had the bingo late, and I loved it for the captain. But I'd say that line throughout the game was probably a little quieter than I would have anticipated. They came up large when needed, though. TK hanging around that slot area. The puck on the power play's just sitting there. Boom. Celebrates, too. Big-time Selly. And I thought at the time, maybe it was premature. Hey, don't Selly that hard, right? You still have to pull your goalie, add an extra attacker, and hope you score from there. But, I mean, I guess look at it from an individual perspective. Travis Konecny had a tough season last year. And the fact that game one, he can put himself on the scoreboard, I'm sure that feels great. I'm sure that puts you in a spot where it's like, okay, I feel good. I feel good. Let's see what happens on Monday night when the Seattle Kraken, that's right, Dave Hackstall, comes to town. And speaking of premature, there were actually a lot of fans that left the building in that third because it was so boring, because it was a bit of a dead spot in the game, and they thought, you know what, there's no life to this team. We'll head out. Well, no, you can't be doing that, my friend. I made that mistake in that Stadium Series game when it started to rain a little bit, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to leave. Here I am driving back from the stadium, and I'm looking over the bridge as I'm driving over the Walt Whitman, and I hear about Claude Giroux's epic bingo for the game winner. And then, of course, he had that masterful celebration, which I have framed and hung up in the man cave next to Bryce Harper, next to Joel Embiid. I feel that that's right. I feel that that's where he deserves to be. But yeah, shame on me and shame on those individuals who decided to leave the Wells Fargo Center and get an early start. I'm not making that wrong decision once again. So look, I'm pretty excited for just the way the team had flow out there, the fight in it. You know, if this becomes a common theme where they fall behind early, if we're at game 36 and we are still witnessing these same problems where they're taking dumb penalties and, you know, they're fighting back from 2-goal deficits, and it's great. I mean, it's awesome that you grabbed the point. But, you know, this isn't a way to live. So for game one, it's, hey, we're proud of the way we fought. We knew there'd be a learning curve. We understood that players need to play with one another. We brought in Keith Yandel. We got to work on the power play and whatnot. Although, you know, the one power play that I really did enjoy with Cam Atkinson, Joel Farabee, Derek Brassard, Ivan Provorov, and Ryan Ellis running quarterback. Oh, yeah, that's great. Give it over to Joel Farabee. Let him take a 1-T, bounces off of the far pad, hits a defender, goes in, takes shots, baby, let it rip. And you could just tell this is no knock on Ivan Provorov because he is a fantastic defenseman. But when you think of the power play and what we've seen in years past with him running the top, and then you think about the acquisitions that you had this season, yeah, you know what? When Ryan Ellis is poised back there and really going, whether it's to his right or to his left, looking at the top of that power play, there's just a calming presence that I thought really stood out to me. They were moving the puck well together prior to Joel Farabee's one-timer, so I really like that, and I'm sure that they can continue to grow off of what is there. There's a lot of skill up front. A lot of skill. All right, let me continue to look at some of the things that I touched on that put a big smile on my face. Let's see here. It definitely wasn't anything in the second period. Was there something in the first period that I was missing? A couple key points that I did bring up was the fact that Carter Hart played the puck well in the first period. I thought a couple times to really set up a nice outlet pass, or it set up getting the puck to the defenseman so they can at least try and start a transition. That's been a question mark surrounding him. And then, of course, to start the second period, he tried to use behind the net as a situation to bank the puck off the boards and give it to a D-man. But instead, there was a lack of communication. The puck popped out, and Vancouver did have a nice little piece of positivity towards their direction, I guess I'd say. And, I guess maybe that should have been telling to what was to come. And as I'm recording this, I'm watching the Houston Astros go up 4-3 in the bottom of the seventh inning with 2 outs as Carlos Correa just hits a bomb here on my studio TV. Not to get too sidetracked, but holy hell, what a blistering cannon. I know Cam Atkinson has a blistering cannon. I know DraftKings Sportsbook can make you money. How does that even tie together? I don't know. Another week of the NFL season means another shot to win big at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers can bet just $1 on any NFL game and win $100 in free bets if either team scores a point. The last 0-0 tie in the NFL was in 1943, so I'd say this is a no-brainer. DraftKings customers can also get skin in the game with same-game parlays. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code Brodes. Bet just $1 on any NFL game and win $100 in free bets if either team scores a point. That's promo code Brodes this week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older. Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. In partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. We have a ton of anytime hotline calls. I'm very proud of the Flyers faithful here for calling in. You know, I know what to expect after an Eagles game. I know after a Sixers game it's all wild. But I have to say I appreciate all you Flyers supporters out there because the anytime hotline was definitely rolling after this one. I do want to bring this up, though, real quick before we head in that direction. The second period, the amount of penalties outside of just the last one I was speaking about that bled into the third, and the fans were pissed, deservedly so, booing heavily, really getting on them. Because they couldn't even touch the puck to stop the clock. They milked the entire second period ending with the delayed penalty, which frustrated the fans. And yeah, I mean, it's a dumb penalty that is unacceptable, but just the fact that Vancouver's setting it up. But that wasn't the only problem. Ivan Provorov's throwing the puck over the glass. Too many men on the ice. So they were extremely undisciplined from a team perspective in that second. That's something that has to be cleaned up 1,000%. So let's go to the Anytime Hotline. It's brought to you by Orbit Energy and Power. With over 20 years of experience in the solar industry, Orbit Energy and Power is home to your solar experts in both residential and commercial projects. Orbit Energy and Power also provides water purification systems, backup energy services, battery storage, electrical upgrades, new roofs, heating and cooling, and so much more. So make sure you check out their information at orbitenergy.us or call 800-836-3987. Their information is down below in the description. Let's fire this off. Here we go. Let's hear from you. Anytime Hotline.
I mean, it's nice to get a point. I mean, that's the nature of the game. That's the nature of the sport of hockey. You got to take points and you got to build up points in order to get in the playoffs. And hopefully, that's the end. That's the end goal is get in the playoffs. Anything can happen. But I really do like how we fought back in this game. Carter Hart, I mean, I don't want to dunk on him immediately, but he's going to have to be better than that over the course of the season, and I do believe in him. I'm not going to just trash him right away just because he had kind of a rough game. I think he has the skills to have a bounce-back year, but he's got to be better than he was tonight. Overall, just happy to get the point. Let's beat the Kraken on Monday.
Okay, yeah, no, I think that's a great call. I'm pretty much on the same exact page as you. I mean, honestly, like word from word, I thought that basically summarized what we've been talking about here. Carter Hart, I need to see more from you. It's game one. You know, he just needs to get the shots, feel the shots. He did get beat high glove, and that's an area of concern. And there were some misplays with the puck after some of the ones that I liked in the first period. And I didn't like the fact that he moved off the post. He was unaware of where the puck was. You could say it was unlucky, whether you're talking about that goal or the one that hit off the back wall. But that's sort of understanding where you are. I mean, one, he didn't know where the puck was, so it is a little bit different. But the other one, you know, I get it hits off the wall, but you're also in a position where when it banks off the wall, it can hit your back of your pad above your skate and end up going in. They weren't all disgustingly brutal. The 5-on-3 power play goal where they pass it back door. What are you going to do there? You make the initial stop and you have a 5-on-3. Yeah, most teams in the NHL can score when that happens. And then when you think about the effort and just the way that they battled back, yeah, it's impressive. They really did. They earned it. We want to talk about leadership. Chuck Fletcher made a monster move this offseason. Why? Because he mentioned when things get tough, they didn't have the results last year. They didn't have the veterans in the locker room that they were looking for. They were too young, filled with a lot of youth. Well, you're telling me that Keith Yandel, Derek Brassard, Cam Atkinson, G, Cootsie, They weren't prepared to rally the troops. They weren't sitting on that bench knowing, fellas, there's plenty of time here. Let's score on this power play. Once TK gets smacked in the face, let's settle down. Let's calm down. Let's get this power play goal. Bang, it happened. Hey, let's get Carter Hart out of the net. Here we go. Let's set things up with another man advantage. Different way of doing it, but another man advantage. Let's go. Relax. We got plenty of time to go to work here, fellas. Let's go, boys. Huh? Let's go, boys. So, let's chalk that up to what Chuck Fletcher appreciated this offseason and what he brought in for a reason. That showed legitimacy tonight. All right, what's next?
What's up, Brodes? It's Ryan from Tampa. Missed you, man. Hey, a disappointing result. You know, it sucks we only got a point, but hey, the positives, because I'm a positive guy. I will say we are peppering the hell out of shots tonight. Different than last year, we were really, peppering those shots in. And I was really impressed with our offense. I think what was the game-changing factor that we have to change for next week is just stupid penalties. And the other thing is Hart's got to play better. Other than that, at least they tied it up. They got a point out of it. Hopefully they get better next week.
I'm actually glad that the first two callers brought up Carter Hart in that way, because after I heard AV speak after the game, I didn't know honestly how the public would perceive it. I didn't know if there would be a softer approach on Carter Hart, and I know we all saw it, right? So I'm aware of how smart you all are with the sport of hockey, but I'm just saying there is a more optimistic viewpoint on it, or more of an AV approach with it after game one. But I like the fact that the first two callers have basically said, look, I mean, we got to be stronger in that area, but you're absolutely right with self-inflicting wounds. I just feel that catchphrase has been brought up way too much over the last handful of weeks because of the way Nick Sirianni has his team playing. That's what they do nonstop because they are a bad football team. So seeing it already resonate here with the Flyers just leaves a nasty taste in my mouth, even though I don't anticipate that being an issue all season long. You're right, though, when you think about the offense. I was very impressed with some players there that really sparked. Joe Farabee, man, I'll tell you what, I'm so damn impressed. He's flying out there. His vision, his patience with the puck, time and space, creating separation when he's in the offensive zone. I watch him cut across the middle, and then he casually sits there and waits and just waits for the person to come, maybe drive the lane, drive the net hard, which opens up a third man high, just cutting across the middle and waiting and utilizing his backhand. It's just great to see him. And I always went back to this, and not that I didn't trust him. I don't want to make it seem like I didn't trust him, right? But when you go to Joel Farabee's stats from last season, it was sensational. But can I expect a 21-year-old who scored 20 goals in 55 games? Keep in mind, that 20 wasn't in 82. It was in 55. I just watched Travis Konecny have a strong season the year before and then get shut down in the playoffs. So maybe it's PTSD, maybe knowing it's just happening and it's so raw. But I was like, okay, what is Joel Farabee? Is he that player, or can we see a step back like we saw with Travis Konecny? Because while you're 21 and it's hard to demand that you can put up a pace of, let's just say, like maybe 30 goals? That's a 30-goal pace. Is that Joel Farabee? Is he more of a 20-goal scorer out of 82? I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out. That's my journey here of watching him this season and continuing to study how he performs. But a strong start and made my eyeballs pop. Let's go, Joel. Fantastic. All right, what's another one here?
I like what I saw from the Flyers. Sucks that they lost, but I'm not going to decide what to say about them from the first game. Got to watch them for like another month or so to evaluate them. But, yeah, I'm definitely going to be watching this team more than the other three, considering Ben Simmons' bullshit, Phillies rebuild, and dumpster fire Eagles and Nick Sirianni. Yeah, go Flyers.
I mean, I'm super pumped up that the Flyers have returned, and it was an awesome atmosphere. I do have to give everyone credit that was there. It got loud I mean, it really did get numbingly loud, and I don't remember. Maybe it's because it's been quite some time, but even when the Flyers did have fans in the stands their most recent time, it was dead. And I always chalk this up to, not that this is the time for this conversation, but the way that the Flyers are managed and the way that their ownership group is, it's changed the atmosphere of the intensity of the crowd. It's a totally different environment with gritty and everything surrounding the complex. It's not the same as when you used to go to the Spectrum, right? And you were banging on the glass and the Pittsburgh Penguins came to town, and Kasperitis is on the other side. It got good tonight. It's not the same as it once did, and I've been very disappointed with Flyers fans and the approach of the fan base over the last handful of years as a whole. But I'll tell you what, tonight it was damn electric in there. But it was fun. I don't know, you start talking about the Eagles. As much as I'm enjoying this moment right now, post-game for the first time of 2021, the Eagles are the Eagles. We're talking about the Philadelphia sports fandom here, and 1 through 4. I know it's all personal preference, and it really is all subjective. So if you're a hockey guy and that's your number one, then so have it. But guess what? You might be talking about a month into this season, and you might not be saying that, oh, this is the only team that I'm watching. This is the number one team I'm watching. Because maybe Ben Simmons is traded. They bring in, and look, I know the Flyers lost, and I'm not the jumping up for joy guy just because they grabbed a point. But I'll tell you what. The last thing I thought I'd be speaking about today, right now, sitting in this chair when I was driving home, was Ben Simmons. I love you. Thanks for calling. But there's no way we should have did that right there. Let's take one more.
Weird game tonight. I mean, I thought the first period, the Flyers really looked good. But the second and third, we start to see some things that were problems years prior. Again, specialty teams not being able to kill off power plays by the opposition, not being able to score when you have the power play, and leaky goals by Carter Hart, goals that can't go in. And also Travis Sanheim on the fourth goal, I don't know what you're doing there. The puck's laying in the crease. You've got to be stronger on the puck to get that out of there. Now, I credit them for coming back to tie it, but you knew when the game went to a shootout, it was over. And can I say in closing, I hate the shootout, win or lose. Why don't we decide NFL games in a field goal kicking competition?
Yeah, I don't like it either, to be honest with you. But, yeah, Travis Sanheim, that's definitely someone I wanted to point out. As we were discussing it, it did pop into my brain, and then I went into another direction, and then it completely got lost. But, yeah, Travis Sanheim for sure needs to be tougher in a couple different areas. And last year we chalked that up to two young players, and Phil Myers and him playing together. And you would imagine with Ristolainen in there, they're probably not going to be I know he didn't play tonight, I'm just saying in general, where we kind of wrote that in as Ellis and Ivan Provorov, Sanheim and Ristolainen, Keith Yandel and Justin Braun being your 5 and 6. That's just a fine, steady 6. But you'd imagine that second pairing with Sanheim and Risto, that can cause some problems, right? And this is more in the hypothetical, but that can cause some problems in the D zone. Sanheim, he's not bad. He's not as bad as what people say he is. But did I expect maybe a little bit more in jump, a little bit more in growth, a little bit more in development over the last couple of seasons? Yeah, probably. He didn't hit the ceiling that I thought he would be at by now, or maybe not his ceiling, but he hasn't hit the stride that I thought he'd be at now. He's also, though, not as disgusting as others say that he is. That's all. That's all. That's my point on him. But, yes, very leaky. I don't think the special teams were at it. They got a power play goal in Joel Farabee to start things off. They got a power play goal with Travis Konecny. And, yeah, when it's 5-on-3 with 1 second left, too, as well on that first penalty, that was definitely a bad timing. You wish that could kill off one of the penalties if you just waited 1 more second before the backdoor pass occurred and snuck through. I didn't think the penalties, the special teams as a unit, sure, I mean, I would have liked to seen them be stronger on the PK. They generated a shorthanded opportunity, though. Things to clean up, 1,000%. That's inevitable, though, and that's every team. Look at the Tampa Bay Lightning. They lose game 1, and then they Watch Bertuzzi have a hat. He's scoring goals left and right. They come back in overtime to beat a depleted squad. Right now, it's about getting your feet underneath. If you get in your flow, learning a little bit of your new coach's concepts, or if you're a new player on a new team, but they have the same coach, just getting adapted with one another. So that's where we're at here after they fall 5-4 in the shootout. I don't love the shootout anymore. There was a time in the beginning where I thought it was better than just a tie, and then now that we've seen it for so long, I'm already looking back in another direction. Ooh, I thought Boston just hit a 2-run bomb in the top of the 8th, but I was wrong. Fly out to the warning track. All right. I think that's enough for me. I'm getting distracted here. I want to thank everybody so much for listening to this episode of Sports Talk with Brodes, and I will see you next time.